So the topic which has been allotted to me for this session is technology integration in STEM, the TPACK framework. Actually, this is a painting shared by Punya Mishra, who is the person behind this whole model on his website that I have just taken. That sometimes people think like कि content कुछ अलग है, pedagogy कुछ अलग है, and technology कुछ अलग है, और हम तीनों को मिलाकर ले आए. लेकिन अगर तीनों का रंग अलग अलग रहेगा, तो फिर वो कभी भी TPACK नहीं हो सकता. तो पुण्य मिश्रा ने से बहुत सारे इमेजेस शेयर किए अपने वेबसाइट पर just to clarify that what TPACK is and what TPACK not. So I thought this image is good to introduce my topic. That's why I'm here. Actually, the problem or the challenges with us are that many of us know what are the technologies, but many times we fail when we try to integrate technology in teaching learning. Which technology is appropriate for teaching learning? That is the major question, major challenge in front of many educators across the country. Then when we are going to integrate the technology in teaching learning, what are the aspects, what are the dimensions which we need to keep in mind when we are going to कि क्या कंटेंट होना चाहिए, उस कंटेंट के लिए कौन सी टेक्नोलॉजी अप्रोप्रिएट होगी. टेक्नोलॉजी तो है, बट क्या वो पेडागोजिकली करेक्ट है या नहीं है. हमको बेसिकली एक ट्रायंगुलेशन करना होता है टेक्नोलॉजी, पेडागोजी और कंटेंट के बीच. जब तक हम वो ठीक से नहीं कर पाते, हम शायद टेक्नोलॉजी को अप्रोप्रिएटली यूज नहीं कर पाते. क्योंकि कई बार हमारे पास कंटेंट है, लेकिन उस कंटेंट के लिए अप्रोप्रिएट टेक्नोलॉजी क्या होगी, विच टेक्नोलॉजी विल सूट मोर टू माई कंटेंट, दैट इज ऑल्सो अ क्वेश्चन. देन हाउ टू मैच द टेक्नोलॉजी. टेक्नोलॉजी इज देयर, कंटेंट इज देयर, दैट व्हेन एंड वेयर. मुझे याद है जब हम स्वयं पर कोर्स डेवलप कर रहे थे, हमें स्वयं ने कहा वीडियो है, टेक्स्ट है, एक्टिविटीज है, हम वीडियो कहाँ प्लेस करें. बड़ा प्रॉब्लम था. किसी ने कहा कि एक अलग लेसन क्रिएट करके एक वीडियो का लिंक क्रिएट कर दो, उसके नीचे एक अलग चैप्टर क्रिएट करके पीडीएफ फाइल अपलोड कर दो. हमने पीडीएफ फाइल अपलोड कर दी अलग, वीडियो अपलोड कर दिया अलग. अब वीडियो तो टॉप बात कर रहा है पूरी यूनिट में केवल एक टॉपिक पर. अब बच्चा वो वीडियो कब देखे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल मेरा वीडियो किसी ऐसे टॉपिक पर है जो टॉपिक मेरे उस मॉड्यूल में 5वें या 6ठे नंबर पर है. अगर वो वीडियो पहले देख ले रहा है और फिर वो टेक्स्ट पढ़ रहा है, तो वो 5, 6, 10 पेज तक यही कंफ्यूज है कि जो वीडियो देखा था उसकी तो बात ही नहीं कर रहा चैप्टर. मीन्स टेक्नोलॉजी तो है, कंटेंट तो है, लेकिन उसको प्लेस कहाँ करूं, उसको मैच कैसे करूं. तो ये एक बड़ा चैलेंज है. इसीलिए कहा जाता है कि द इम्प्लीमेंटेड टेक्नोलॉजी मस्ट कम्युनिकेट द कंटेंट एंड सपोर्ट द पेडागोजी टू एनहांस द स्टूडेंट्स लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंस. टेक्नोलॉजी का काम केवल कंटेंट कम्युनिकेट करना नहीं है. टेक्नोलॉजी का काम कंटेंट को कम्युनिकेट करने के साथ साथ आप जो पेडागोजिकल अप्रोच यूज कर रहे हैं उसके साथ उसकी जेलिंग जरूरी है, उसके साथ उसकी मिक्सिंग जरूरी है, विदाउट विच इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू इम्प्लीमेंट द टेक्नोलॉजी. सो व्हाट इज TPACK? TPACK is basically a framework. This is basically an outcome of a work of Punya Mishra and Matthew J. Kohler 2006. A lot of stories are behind this experiment that Punya Mishra was trying to get a job outside the country and he could not get the job properly because he applied in certain universities where it was a rule that there should be some unique model in your name, there should be some unique contribution of yours in your discipline, only then you can get that job. So Punya Mishra was basically working on the technology a lot. So he just heard about the Schulman's PCK model. You all have heard about that. Then he and Kohler worked for some time and they developed a model. And after this developing this model becomes so famous that Punya Mishra got opportunity in 3 universities. And he was invited by 3 universities to join their faculty. Later on, he chooses one. So, TPACK framework basically talks about 3 types of knowledge: technological knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and content knowledge. And it tried to gel all the 3 components. It basically outlines that how content, that is what is being taught, the pedagogy, how the content will be imparted, will form a foundation for effective educational technology integration. So EdTech integration is not alone, aloof. एक कहावत है, टेक्नोलॉजी, यूजिंग टेक्नोलॉजी फॉर द सेक ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी इज ऑफ नो यूज. केवल किसी ने कहा कि आपको आईसीटी ओरिएंटेड क्लास लेनी है, आपको आईसीटी इंटीग्रेटेड क्लास लेनी है, आपको अपनी टीचिंग लर्निंग में आईसीटी इंटीग्रेट करना, और हम कुछ भी एक वीडियो ले आए, एक क्लास ले आए, एक पीपीटी बना ली, प्रेजेंट कर दिया. नो, फॉर द सेक ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी इट वोंट वर्क. वी नीड टू थिंक अ लॉट दैट वेयर टू यूज द टेक्नोलॉजी, how to use the technology, and which technology we need to use. So these are the some key questions which we need to answer, and the answer was given by Punna Mishra and Kohler in this framework. Here you can see that the three major components are technological knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and content knowledge. And their three intersections are technological pedagogical knowledge, technological content knowledge, and pedagogical content knowledge. The idea of PCK was the foundation of this whole model. The Solman's PCK model, pedagogical content knowledge model, was the foundation on which this whole model was later developed by Kohler and Mishra. So TPK, TCK, PCK, and when this TPK, TCK, PCK converge, so then at the center you get technological pedagogical content knowledge. But what is the important thing? That TPACK is not universal. TPACK is not something that if I am using TPACK in my institution, in the same way you can use TPACK in your institution. No, because the boundary, this dotted line is very important. Many times we fail to explain this because here he has written the context. So the context is very important. Suppose we know that what is the best technology to communicate the content. We know that in which pedagogy this technology could be integrated. But whether the technology is available with me, if it is available with me, whether to communicate with that technology is possible for me with my learners, whether my institutional infrastructure is supporting to that. So whenever we think about technology, we also think that where are we using technology? हम टेक्नोलॉजी यूज कहाँ कर रहे हैं उस ठीक है हमको लगता है कि हमको एक वीडियो लेसन क्लास में प्ले करके बच्चों को पढ़ाने में आसानी होगी ठीक है आप प्ले कर सकते हैं लेकिन क्या आपके क्लास में वीडियो लेसन प्ले करने की फैसिलिटी है अगर नहीं है तो आपको एक अल्टरनेट ढूंढना होगा so the context is very important where are we using technology whether the infrastructure is there whether the facilities are there suppose we find a very good video on YouTube or anywhere which is explaining in fantastic way to my content whether it is the cell division or it is a atomic theory or any other model but if that video is in English and I am teaching to the students which are not from the English medium or which they are from the Hindi medium or Odia medium or Punjabi medium so even the technology is there the pedagogy is there the content is there but the context where we are teaching the context where we are teaching is not matching with that so we need to think about everything within the framework of the context so first and foremost important thing is the context then you can think about all other three things so what is technological knowledge technological knowledge means an educator's knowledge of the technologies available आपके पास कौन सी टेक्नोलॉजीज अवेलेबल है अच्छी टेक्नोलॉजी तो बहुत सारी हो सकती है जैसे अभी दीप्ति बात कर रही थी AR VR हो सकते हैं बट डू वी हैव द फैसिलिटी टू यूज VR अगर मेरे कॉलेज में मेरे स्कूल में मेरे इंस्टीट्यूशन में मेरी यूनिवर्सिटी में सारे बच्चों को हेड गियर अवेलेबल नहीं है तो VR टेक्नोलॉजी अच्छी होने के बावजूद हम यूज नहीं कर सकते बिकॉज फॉर दैट द फर्स्ट रिक्वायरमेंट इज अ हेड गियर राइट सो what is the available technology good technology is good thing but the available technology is more important अच्छी टेक्नोलॉजी तो कुछ भी हो सकती है बहुत सारी टेक्नोलॉजीज आजकल अवेलेबल है then understanding how to use them effectively in an educational context मैं पैंडेमिक का एग्जांपल हमेशा लेता हूँ हम लोग हमेशा फेसबुक यूज करते थे हम लोग फेसबुक पर पोस्ट करते थे वीडियोस अपलोड करते थे फोटो अपलोड करते थे मैंने यहाँ कल सेशन लिया कुशाग्री ने 2 फोटो शेयर किए मैंने अपलोड कर दिए राइट सो we were using basically Facebook for that but when pandemic came we started using Facebook for live lectures we tried to bring the interactivity by using a third software or outside software and open source software called OBS because when I took my first lecture on Facebook initially has only 2 options either the presenter view was there or the PPT view was there but people or the student who were connected with me from across the country they said sir when you explain your body language and facial expression is also important along with the content so then I found the software where I can place the PPT in the background and myself in the front or in the side and then I can communicate so then we started using Facebook and I did hundreds of the Facebook live during that series and during that period in both cycle 1 and cycle 2 and it was very fantastic experiment later on I downloaded my all Facebook videos and I edited them and I converted them into short video of 10 minutes 20 minutes 30 minutes and then uploaded them on YouTube also so how to use technology in an educational context मैंने कल आपको उसका एग्जांपल दिया था that is called Clubhouse is very good and very efficient technology for group discussion It is audio social media. बट क्लब हाउस लोग यूज किस लिए कर रहे हैं उसको यहाँ रिपीट करना नहीं चाहता. वी ऑल नो दैट who are on clubhouse, how many of them are using it for educational purpose? Very few. If you go to the clubhouse, you will get a lot of music, concerts, live content, chit chat, everything. But can you use that for a group discussion in your class? For your class, when your class is not at place at your institution level. So you know what technology is there and how can you use for educational context. So what technological knowledge constitute? Technological knowledge includes basically the proficiency with the software, hardware, and digital tools. You should know what are the softwares. You should know what is the hardware requirement, what are the digital tool availables. And second, you should develop an ability to adopt the new technologies as they emerge. The very good example is blockchain. We all know that why blockchain was developed. Blockchain was developed basically to manage the transactions during the purchase and sale of cryptocurrency. Blockchain was not a technology which was developed for educational purpose because blockchain is digital currency, it is not a paper currency. So to avoid the paper transaction, the blockchain technology was developed to maintain the cryptocurrency transactions. But when the people from education saw its use, they visualized that how it can reduce the paper consumption in educational settings, how secure it is, and how the employer, the degree provider, the candidate, and all the stakeholders can come on one platform and can access the degrees, the certificates without any glitch, only with the password. And we all started using blockchain, and now you see many universities are, even in India, like Delhi University, IGNOU, and many other universities are now giving their degrees through blockchain only in the convocation. Now they are not giving the degrees in hard copy or in the paper page. So when the technology is emerging, the technology may not be of your use. Like the Zoom was not for classroom teaching learning. Zoom was for office meeting. But when the need was there, you know there was a technology. Skype, there was a technology. We started adopting those technologies. So a teacher should have the ability to adopt the new technologies for educational purpose. कोई भी नई चीज आती है, आप अगर उसको देख रहे हैं तो you should think that how I can use in my context. My context, that is more important. So all this constitute the technological knowledge. Another is pedagogical knowledge. Pedagogical knowledge is basically the art and science of teaching. You all are teachers, you all are doing fantastic work in your classroom, so you all know what pedagogy is. Pedagogy includes the instructional strategies, the classroom management, the assessment techniques, and how to cater the diverse learning needs. You know, technology is very good facilitator to facilitate the needs of diverse learners. For example, I'm giving you one example, again a Facebook session or even a YouTube video, right? So a YouTube video is good for slow learners because they can learn on their pace. A YouTube video is good for even hard of hearing students because Facebook video has an option that you can see the closed caption option. So if you open the closed caption option, whatever you are saying, it comes at the bottom. So if they cannot listen you, they can see your facial expressions and along with they can read. So it is good for them. YouTube video is good for those students who are not able to see properly, so they can listen. So you know how technology can cater the needs of different types of learners in your class. That is also the part of pedagogy. So pedagogy is how to deliver the content, where to deliver the content, what is the best method to deliver the content. And the third is the content knowledge, which we all know that is the content or the subject which we need to impart, the subject matter. We should have a deep understanding of the topics which they are teaching. Many times I fail to understand that why in many universities in teacher education program there is a paper of pedagogy, like pedagogy of science, pedagogy of mathematics, pedagogy of life sciences. There they don't teach the life science, mathematics, or physics. They teach only the pedagogy. I always believe that it should be the pedagogical come content come pedagogy. It should not be only pedagogy. Why? Like in the IGNOU material, you will find content come pedagogy approach. And now in this new ITEP, integrated teacher education program, there are 16 credits for content come pedagogy. So here, because content and pedagogy should go hand in hand, only then the content knowledge is important. Because many times I have experienced when I sat in many interviews that people come, मैं तो यहाँ pedagogy की पोजीशन के लिए आया हूँ, उनसे उनका कंटेंट पूछो नहीं पता होता, उनसे उनका आपका पीजी किस में इसमें है पूछो क्या, वो तो हमने सर 10-15 साल पहले किया था, एंड यू आर कमिंग फॉर अ पोस्ट टू टीच दैट सब्जेक्ट. If a science teacher is not able to explain what is the concept of any theorem or any theory, and from where that concept has emerged, what is it? Because whatever in the textbook of 6th class, 8th class, 10th class, or BSc, textbook content is not for teacher. Textbook content is for a student. So, what should be the content for a teacher? That is very important and where we lack many times. So, we need to be also aware about the latest development and researches in the field. It enhances our explanation power, our background knowledge, and it also gives us a lot of confidence when we talk about any concept. So from here, the concept, when we converse two of any three, means the CK, PK, and TK, you can come with three models. That is called, first is called PCK. This idea was given by Solman, and if you read the Solman model, it is a fantastic model of pedagogical content knowledge. And Solman said that pedagogical content knowledge describes the teacher's knowledge regarding the foundational areas of teaching and learning, including the curriculum development, the development, student assessment, and reporting. It also focuses on promoting the learning and tracing the link between pedagogy and practices. It differs according to the grade level and the subject matter. So pedagogical content knowledge means, for example, you are teaching cell division in class 9th, you are teaching cell division in class 11th, you are teaching cell division in BSc part 1, you are teaching cell division in MSc part 1, right? So you are teaching the same content. You may have studied the very nice book in your PG when you was doing your MSc in life sciences. You must have read the original articles related to the cell division. But if you will talk about those original articles or that level of content in an 11th class student or to a 9th class student, it won't work. So we need to, when we are talking about the pedagogical content knowledge, the content is same. That is the cell division. But how much content is pedagogically appropriate at different level? That is also pedagogical content knowledge. So it basically seeks to improve the teaching practices by creating stronger connections between the content and the pedagogy used to communicate the content. In terms of Solman wrote somewhere that this transformation occurs, according to PCK is talking, that this transformation occurs as the teacher interprets the subject matter, finds multiple ways to represent it, and then they adopts and tailors the instructional material to alternate conceptions and students' prior knowledge. Because the whole idea of PCK is basically that many times teacher fails to understand that the pedagogical content is not the content which is in the textbook for a learner. Textbook is not for a teacher. You must have experienced in your whole teaching life that there are hundreds of the teachers who always use the same book which is being used by the students. It should not be that. It should not be. Because textbook is for the students. It has been written to facilitate the students. Textbook is basically a supplementary material. What you are teaching in your class, textbook provides is its gist to the student to read later or to read first and then come to the class. So the content which you will deliver in the classroom should be more comprehensive, more explanatory, should have a lot of examples, should have a different base to represent it. You should not repeat the same example, the same sentence, the same definition, the same line which is in the textbook. If we are doing that, we are not following the PCK model. So, very important thing for a teacher is to understand that how PCK is different from the content knowledge. Second is the technological content knowledge. Technological content knowledge means that a particular content, how that content could be influenced by the technology. This is where the technology and content knowledge basically intersects. So educators means you need to know that how to use technology to facilitate the content delivery effectively. Means here what you need to know. Here you need to know that which technology is most appropriate for what kind of content. So here we are not talking about pedagogy. Here we are talking about the intersection of technology and content. For example, you are explaining a process. So process could be demonstrated more effectively in a video than in an audio. But a discussion or explanation, audio podcast could be a better technology. right? So which technology is appropriate for what kind of content? That is called technological content knowledge. How the subject matter can be communicated by different edtechs offerings, and considering that which should best suit for a specific subject matter or the classroom. Then comes the technological pedagogical knowledge, which is called TPK. Now here, which technology is fitted with which type of pedagogy? So we need to think that how we can integrate or how we can combine our technological knowledge and pedagogical knowledge. Means we are delivering a lecture. So which technology is appropriate for a lecture? We are organizing a discussion. So which technology is appropriate to organize a discussion? We are giving some projects. So which technology is appropriate for that project? We are asking our students to demonstrate something. Which technology is appropriate for demonstration? So which technology go with which pedagogy? That is also very important dimension, because it describes the teacher's understanding that how a particular technology can change both teaching learning experience by introducing two new pedagogical affordness and constraints. Both things you need to understand. Another aspect of TPK is basically that understanding how such tool can be deployed alongside pedagogy in the way that they are appropriate for the discipline and development of the lesson at the hand. So PCK, TPK, and TCK. All three are important. When these three converge, then comes the TPACK, technological, pedagogical, content knowledge. Because TPACK, you converge the technology, the pedagogy, the content. So when TPACK comes, it underlies basically the meaningful and deeply skilled teaching with the technology. It is different from the knowledge from all three concepts individually. It is not TCK plus PCK plus TPK. No, it is not like this plus plus plus. It is basically a conversion of all three. It is a function output of all three. So for this, what you require? You require an understanding of the representation of the concept using the technology. You also require the pedagogical technique where the technology can be used in constructive way. You also need the knowledge that what makes the concept difficult and easy to learn, and how technology can help to redress these problems. You should also need to understand that how the knowledge of students' prior knowledge and theories of epistemology means the pedagogy. You also need to have a knowledge of how technology can be used to build the existing knowledge to develop a new epistemology or strengthen the old one. So there are certain requirements. These requirements were outlined by the Kohler and Mishra in an article 2009. The model was given in 2006, but Mishra is so active. If you go to Mishra's website or his Google Scholar page, you will find at least 50, 60 articles about TPACK and how TPACK is growing with the time. I'm just talking about the basic TPACK model. I'm not talking about the advanced applications of it. So you can see that at the center of all these intersections, TPACK lies, where all three knowledge domains are converging. It is basically the AND results of are the combination, permutation, combination. So it creates an effective basis for teaching using technology. Now, if you are going to implement TPACK, what you should consider? First, concepts from the content which you want to teach through technology. You need to identify the concept. You also need to identify the pedagogical technique to communicate that content. So first you need to identify the content, then you need to identify which pedagogical technique is appropriate for that content and which technology could be integrated in that pedagogy. So different content concepts may require different skill level of the students. They will require different edtech to be convert. So when the students come to the classroom, they comes with the various experiences, their previous experiences, their knowledge, their exposure to technology, the lesson, and we want to provide them the most effective way. We want to communicate the content in the most effective way. So if we are trying this, we all need to consider all these things, that educational technology can be used in tandem with the students' existing knowledge. If you are giving them exposure to a technology, for example, you are using Hector. So Hector is an app which could be used for integrating your that what we call augmented reality content. A lot of science content is available. Sorry, not Factor, it is Factor. FECTAR. Factor has a lot of augmented reality content in sciences. So if you want to use that content, if you want to provide that experience to your learner, if you want to integrate that, so what you need to know? First, you need to visit the factor. You need to identify which content is available. Then what environment is required? What is the hardware and software requirement in the classroom? You also need to ensure that. And when you are teaching that content, if that content is in some demonstration way, then what pedagogical change you will bring in your teaching learning to communicate that content. So the content, pedagogy, and technology, all three should be think collectively. If you are not doing that, you cannot implement. So for that, a very simple thing has been suggested, that you should ask certain questions to yourself. What is the current subject matter? What is your knowledge on the subject? Because sometimes if you are not a content creator, you are dependent upon the technological content available on different places. So if the content in that subject is something different, I'm just giving one example. पैंडमिक में एक टीचर को, मैं अगेन सेल डिवीजन का एग्जांपल इसलिए बार बार ले रहा हूँ क्योंकि मैंने ये देखा है किसी टीचर के एग्जांपल में, कि उसको सेल डिवीजन पढ़ाना था, शायद 9th या 10th क्लास के बच्चों को, सेकेंडरी स्कूल की टीचर थी। पैंडमिक आ गया, उसने सेल डिवीजन का चैप्टर पढ़ाना था, उसने एक दिन पढ़ाया, बच्चों को समझ नहीं आया, उसने क्या किया, यूट्यूब पर गई, उसने सेल डिवीजन डाला, यूट्यूब पर 15-20 वीडियो अवेलेबल थे, उसमें से जो जो वीडियो उसको ठीक लगे, उसने 8-10 वीडियो की लिंक बच्चों को एक व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में बम्बार्ड कर दिए। और अगले दिन बोला कि आप लोग ये वीडियो देख लीजिएगा, वी विल हैव अ डिस्कशन ऑन सेल डिवीजन। नाउ एज अ साइंस टीचर, यू ऑल नो, दोज हु आर फ्रॉम द बायोलॉजी बैकग्राउंड, दैट फॉर अ 10th क्लास टीचर, हाउ मच meiosis and how much mitosis is to be explained. It could be explained in 30 minutes, 40 minutes, or maybe in 2 classes of 40 minutes, not more than that. But if a teacher is bombarding 10 videos of 30 minutes each, means she is expecting that a student will spend 300 minutes to answer your question in the discussion. So it means that you have not evaluated those videos before bombarding to the student. So technology, for the sake of using technology, is always useless. What was the required? The required was that you know what subject matter is there, what is your knowledge of subject matter, how much content is required for my learner, which video appropriately communicate that much content, only that video should be communicated, not all. So sometimes it happens. So what is the most prominent learning style in your classroom? How you will accommodate them in this lesson? What instructional practice does your lesson plan or your teaching plan includes? When there are certain questions like whatever topic or teaching methodology you are choosing, whether they are suitable to each other, then which edtech tools you have. It is not about what edtech tools are available. Edtech tools may be available many, but do you think that those edtech tools can be used? No. If they are not in your hand, if they are not at your learner's hand, you cannot use that. And if you find a edtech tool which is at your hand as well as at the learner's hand, then how it is fit with your lesson plan? How is it fit with your teaching learning? And how it can further optimize your learning outcomes? So these are the certain basic questions which a teacher need to ask before talking about educational technology, or before talking about that how edtech can be used. I'm giving two examples and then I will stop, because I said the topic is very small, so we will have more discussion on it than the presentation. I think we will talk about 30-40 minutes or whatever time you have in your hand in the discussion mode. But I just exploring that how, for example, a teacher is trying to use the simulation of physics. So what technological knowledge? Technological knowledge is that how the software, that is the physics simulation software. Yesterday someone was giving an example of virtual lab in Meenakshi madam's lesson, that he is working on the virtual labs, he used virtual labs. So what is virtual lab? You first you need to know. So any technology, any software which you want to use, first you need to learn how that software works, how that technology works. Pedagogical knowledge, that a teacher should know that how an inquiry-based lesson could be designed by using that simulation software. So that is the inquiry-based lesson designing is a pedagogical knowledge. And content, which concept is there? Which concept is there? So concept is the content, how the concept will be delivered is the pedagogy, and which technology you want to use. Then when we talk about TPK, PCK and PCK, TPK means You design a lesson where you include the physics simulation in your lesson planning. That is technological pedagogical knowledge. Then of which content it is there. So where you will place in your lesson plan that technology and to explain what content. So that is the technology plus content. Then pedagogy plus content. So pedagogy plus content, technology plus pedagogy. When you converge all these three, then you will emerge with a good lesson plan and then you can use. Let us see one more example. For example, many teachers use blogging for literature analysis, but how it can be used? So, what is the technological knowledge? Because blog is a technology, so teacher should know how to set up and manage the blogs. It could be a student's blog, or you can take the example of discussion forum, or many such written text, right? Then pedagogical knowledge is that blog is fit for what kind of pedagogy? Because when we are using the literature analysis, the pedagogy is discussion and critical analysis. What is the content? The content which is available in the literature. So the literature, the pedagogy, discussion and critical analysis, and the technology is blog. How you can converge this? If you are talking about TPK, you should use the blogs as a platform for literary analysis. That is for analysis, blogs will be used. That is the technology plus pedagogy. The content, whether that content is fit for that technology and whether that pedagogy is fit for that content. All three things when we'll explain, we can combine the result and it could emerge as a dynamic and engaging literature analysis experience. So you can design many such things. Just think about, first you identify in your content what is PK, what is CK, what is TK, then you decide what is TPK, TCK, PCK, and then you decide how you can use TPACK. If you can do this, you can easily use TPACK in your classes. And how is it beneficial? Because TPACK framework helps in professional development. It enhances your professional abilities. It provides you, if you use the TPACK, you not only get the training in technology integration and pedagogical strategies, but it also help you to bridge the gaps in your own knowledge. Then you also get good understanding of curriculum designing, because when you design the curriculum, you know where the technology should be placed, which technology should be placed, where content is. So you can select appropriate digital tools, resources, and you can design a lot of activities. Then the lesson planning. In daily lesson planning, you can take an account TPACK framework. You can use the TPACK at least for one topic in every day. It won't take much time. You can involve a lot of digital resources, interaction activity, collaborative tools. Multiple tools are there. Someone is definitely taking sessions on tools and techniques. Then collaboration is possible. You can collaborate with other teachers. You can collaborate with your past peers across the institutions. So a lot of collaboration is possible. Feedback is possible. Reflection is possible. You can do a lot of experiments. You do some researches that using TPACK is basically affecting what dimensions of a learner, whether it's affecting their achievement motivation, whether it is affecting their retention, whether it is affecting their memory span, short-term memory span, long-term memory span, many pedagogical concepts, whether it is enhancing their what you call the retention time, uh, many things you can do by doing a lot of experiment by using the TPACK framework. So because TPACK is a holistic approach, so why it is a holistic approach? Because it talks about technology, pedagogy, and content together. It allows you to adapt, because in a changing technology, a lot of technology comes and go. So you can identify a technology which is particularly useful in your pedagogy, so you can adapt that technology. I have given you the example of blockchain, that we adapted the blockchain, we adapted the Facebook live, we adapted the Zoom lessons. So we adopted the technology for our pedagogical approach, and it is ever evolving. New technologies are coming now. Yesterday we were talking about chat GPT and AI and all that. It improves our learning outcomes. Definitely it improves our learning outcomes. Why? Because it gives you multiple ways to communicate with the learner, to engage with your learner. So the understanding of your learner enhances. And when your understanding of your learner is enhances, definitely your learning outcomes get improved. I have told you it help you in developing yourself professionally. You can do the collaboration, and it is a student-centered approach. Never the teacher is in the center. This is very important point and last point of my presentation, because whenever we are thinking about technology, whenever we are thinking about pedagogy, or whenever we are thinking about content, who should be in the center? It should be the learner. You may be knowing multiple technologies, whether my student has access to those technologies. If my student is not having the access, the technology is not useful. It may be useful, it may be fantastic, it may be mind blowing, and if you use it, you will do eureka, eureka. But you cannot do eureka if your students are not having the device, if your students are not having the internet, if your students are not having the technology. So, technology, TPACK, that's why I put the context. Not I put, it was placed by Kohler and Mishra. But if you see that context is very important. So always you think about the student, that which pedagogy is appropriate for my student, which technology is appropriate for my student, and which content and how much content is appropriate for my student. So TPACK gives you basically a food for thought and opportunity to think in three-dimensional way: technology, pedagogy, content for my student, and then you converge all these three and you come with a model. If you want to read more, if you can't read much, you just read three papers. One is Kohler and Mishra 2009, another is Kohler and Mishra 2006, which was the original paper, and third paper is of Solman. Because you start with Solman, then you can develop your understanding about PCK, pedagogical content knowledge. Then you read Mishra and Kohler, then you will understand that how they developed the framework and how that framework is implemented and what are the challenges which they are facing. So that you can read in their 2009 paper. And if you visit the, I told you, you just be a friend of Punya Mishra if you want to work with it. He is a very fantastic guy. He keep on sharing things a lot on his blog, on his personal website, on his Google Scholar page, and you read his or her articles and you find the ways that how you can use, how you can collaborate, how you can do researches in these areas. So if you will do this, definitely you will be, because this is the area where no one can say that yes, I am a perfect person in this area. No one can say this, because technology, as I told you, is something which keep on changing day by day. So learn more, explore more, and grow more. And if you find something new, please share with me. I will use next time with CCBY in your name in my PPT. Okay. So thank you very much. Here I am stopping my presentation. I think I have taken around 40 minutes. So now the session is open for next 30-40 minutes, whatever time we have for the discussion.
सर इट्स सेम अबाउट, अब जैसे राजकुमार सर बोल रहे थे कि ट्रेनिंग एसेंशियल है, जैसे टीचर बनने के लिए बीएड डिग्री जरूरी है, हम लोगों के लिए जब हम हायर एजुकेशन में जाते हैं, पढ़ाई कंप्लीट रिसर्च में ज्वाइन कर लिए, तो जो मेन सब्जेक्ट पढ़े थे वो तो पूरा ओवरऑल भूल ही गए, सिर्फ अपने ही सब्जेक्ट पे रहे। और उसके बाद क्या, उस जो भी पेपर पब्लिकेशन हुआ, इस सब इवेल्युएट करके आपको टीचिंग में लिया जाएगा। तो जब तक हम पढ़ाने आते हैं तो हम लोग तो मेन सब्जेक्ट भूल ही गए हैं, और पढ़ाना कैसे है वो। तो आई थिंक दैट इंस्टेड ऑफ मेकिंग ऑल दोस एपीआर कोर्स, जिसको टीचर बनना है उसको ट्रेनिंग दिया जाए, जिसको
दो चीजें, got your question,
किसी को टीचर बनना, तो वो
got your question. Now I'm giving you two solutions. One solution has already been suggested in national education policy. If you read the research section of the national education policy, now it is saying that during the PhD, during the pre-PhD, a student has to take 2 courses on pedagogy. तो जैसे ये यूनिवर्सिटी अडॉप्ट करेगी, आप जिस सब्जेक्ट के, आप साइंस के टीचर हैं, आप साइंस के किसी भी फील्ड में पीएचडी करिए, लेकिन प्री कोर्स वर्क में अब आपको टीचिंग करनी पड़ेगी, पेडागोजी के कोर्स करने पड़ेंगे। अभी यूजीसी कहती है आपके जितने भी स्टूडेंट्स फेलोशिप ले रहे हैं, चाहे वो यूजीसी की फेलोशिप ले रहे हैं या वो आपकी यूनिवर्सिटी से फेलोशिप ले रहे हैं, उनको आप टीचिंग में इन्वॉल्व करिए, आपको फ्रीडम देकर तो एक्सपोजर दे सकते हैं। मैं एक बड़ा अच्छा एग्जांपल, अभी ऑलमोस्ट पिछले महीने ही मेरी मीटिंग हुई थी, मेलबॉर्न यूनिवर्सिटी के डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ हायर एजुकेशन के 3 फैकल्टी आए थे, तो हम लोग साथ में बैठे थे। तो वो लोग एक बड़ा अच्छा पीजी प्रोग्राम चलाते हैं, दैट इज कॉल्ड मास्टर्स इन यूनिवर्सिटी टीचिंग। और वो मास्टर्स इन यूनिवर्सिटी टीचिंग वहां की बहुत सारी यूनिवर्सिटीज में जॉब के लिए कंपलसरी है, राइट? तो हम लोग डिस्कस कर रहे थे, हमारे वीसी सर भी हमसे हमारे साथ डिस्कस कर रहे थे कि क्या हम कुछ नया ऐसा कर सकते हैं, क्या हम कुछ ऐसा कर सकते हैं कि हम अपनी यूनिवर्सिटीज में इस तरह के कोर्सेज लॉन्च करें? तो वो डिसीजन तो यूजीसी को लेना है। अगर हम वैसा नहीं कर सकते तो क्या हम कोई शॉर्ट टर्म कोर्स रन कर सकते हैं, हम कोई सर्टिफिकेट कोर्स रन कर सकते हैं? 6 महीने का कोर्स हम रन करें, जैसे एक टीचर के लिए इंडक्शन जरूरी है, ऐसे ही उसको ज्वाइन करते हुए पहले साल में प्रोवेशन लिफ्ट होने से पहले वो कोर्स कंपलसरी कर दें, कि वो कोर्स हर यूनिवर्सिटी टीचर करेगा ही करेगा, असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर, जब तक उसका प्रोवेशन लिफ्ट नहीं हो। तो इस तरह की पॉसिबिलिटीज हैं, और मुझे लगता है जिस इंस्टीट्यूशन का आप ये एफडीपी अटेंड कर रहे हैं, ये काम उस इंस्टीट्यूशन का है। दिस इंटर यूनिवर्सिटी कंसोर्टियम फॉर टीचर एजुकेशन फॉर यूनिवर्सिटी टीचर्स है। तो यूनिवर्सिटी टीचर्स के टीचर एजुकेशन के ऐसे इनोवेटिव मॉडल इस आईयूसीटीई को डेवलप करने होंगे। मैं तो उनके डायरेक्टर से पिछले हफ्ते मिला था, तो मैंने सर को उनका विजिटिंग कार्ड दिया कि सर आप इनके साथ बात करिए, इनके साथ कोलैबोरेट करिए, मैडम के साथ जो वहाँ की डायरेक्टर थी यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ मेलबोर्न के डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ टीचर एजुकेशन, हायर एजुकेशन की। मैंने कहा कि इनके साथ आप कोलैबोरेट करिए, आपके एरिया में काम कर रही हैं। तो लेकिन वो क्या है, उसकी भी एक्सेप्टेबिलिटी उतनी आसानी से नहीं होगी। आप सोचो ना, रिफ्रेशर, ओरिएंटेशन, इंडक्शन कंपल्शन है, इसलिए लोग कर रहे हैं। लेकिन हाँ, वो कंपल्शन शायद फ्यूचर में हो जाए, क्योंकि हम एज ए टीचर एजुकेटर हमेशा ये फील करते हैं कि हायर एजुकेशन टीचर्स को पेडागोजी, एंड्रोगोजी, हॉटोगोजी, जितने टर्म आप चाहे यूज कर लीजिए, उसका एक्सपोजर नहीं है। तो एक्सपोजर के लिए आई एग्री दैट वो होना चाहिए।
सर एक
यस।
जस्ट बात है, जो लोग पीएचडी करते हैं, सम पीपल वांट टू बिकम साइंटिस्ट, तो उनके लिए फिर क्यों जरूरी हो जस्ट टू अप्लाई एज अ फॉर अ टीचिंग पोस्ट? तब आपको जो भी है द कंपलसरी ट्रेनिंग जरूरी पड़ेगी।
एक्चुअली
जैसे ये जो आप बोल
पीएचडी
रहे हैं कि
बहुत सारे लोग
फर्स्ट
करते हैं
ईयर
टीचिंग की वजह से।
नो, बट सम पीपल डू
वरना
इट।
तो जिनको साइंटिस्ट बनना है वो तो एमएससी करके लैब में चले जाते हैं, उनको पीएचडी की डिग्री की जरूरत थोड़ी होती है। बहुत
नहीं,
सारे साइंटिस्ट,
नहीं
सीनियर
ठीक है,
साइंटिस्ट,
हाँ
ग्रेड 1,
साइंटिस्ट
ग्रेड
भी,
2, ग्रेड
साइंटिस्ट भी
3, ग्रेड 4,
या
वो कोई पीएचडी नहीं।
हाँ ठीक है, नहीं कर
यस।
लेते हैं सर।
नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन प्लीज।
सर, कैन आई आस्क वन क्वेश्चन?
प्लीज राखी, प्लीज।
हाँ सर, जो टीचिंग मॉडल्स
लेकिन
हैं
एक
ब्रूस
शर्त है,
जॉयस
आप
ने
लोग अपना
दिए।
वीडियो ऑन करिए, मुझे पता तो लगे सवाल पूछ कौन रहा है।
Hello sir, my
हाँ,
name is
यस।
Rakhi. Sir, I am a big fan of yours. Sir, you are my favorite
सॉरी,
online
नॉट
teacher. Sir,
समथिंग हु हैज अ फैन
75%
फॉलोइंग।
of scientific knowledge that I have now is because of you. I have gone through all your videos. Sir, full day चलते हैं आपके वीडियो, सब पूरे सुने हैं मैंने सारे। सर, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर दैट। सर, मेरा क्वेश्चन है, जो टीचिंग मॉडल्स हैं ब्रूस जॉयस ने दिए हैं, वो सारे मॉडल्स का कंटेंट, उसके इंस्ट्रक्शनल, नर्चरेंट इफेक्ट, ये टीपैक मॉडल कवर कर लेगा क्या सर?
नहीं, एक्चुअली टेपटेक की थिंकिंग बिल्कुल, जो आप ब्रूस जॉयस के मॉडल्स की बात कर रहे हैं,
जी जी
मॉडल्स ऑफ टीचिंग, की अच्छी किताब है। लेकिन मैं आपको सच बताऊं राखी, यहाँ जितने लोग बैठे हैं ना, आप इनसे हाथ खड़ा करवा लीजिए, एक दिन वोटिंग करवा लीजिएगा, अभी ब्रूस जॉयस का नाम सबने नहीं सुना। आई एम
अच्छा
हैप्पी टू हियर दैट एटलीस्ट यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट ब्रूस एंड जॉयस।
जी
क्योंकि लोग पीजी कर लेते हैं एजुकेशन में, बट वो ब्रूस जॉयस के टीचिंग मॉडल्स की किताब का कवर पेज नहीं देखते, लाइब्रेरीज में
जी
बुक
सर।
नहीं है, लेकिन फाउंडेशन बना है।
सर, मेरा पीएचडी का टॉपिक था उनका बायोलॉजिकल
एनीवे,
साइंस इंक्वायरी मॉडल।
टीचिंग मॉडल्स जो डेवलप हुए थे जब ब्रूस एंड जॉयस थे, उस दौर में टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं थी।
जी
ठीक, ये टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं थी जो हम यूज कर रहे हैं। क्योंकि आप इनिशियल टेक्नोलॉजी की बुक्स देखेंगे तो वहां टेक्नोलॉजी क्या थी, वो टेक्स्ट बुक को भी टेक्नोलॉजी मानते थे, वो ब्लैक
जी
बोर्ड को भी टेक्नोलॉजी मानते थे, उस दौर में वो टेक्नोलॉजी थी,
जी हाँ,
है ना।
करेक्ट।
आज की आईसीटी वाली, इंफॉर्मेशन कम्युनिकेशन टेक्नोलॉजी वाली टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं थी, इंटरनेट वाली टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं थी। लेकिन हाँ, अगर हम एक एक्सपेरिमेंट करना चाहें कि हम ब्रूस जॉयस के सजेस्टेड मॉडल्स में से एक मॉडल उठाएं और उस मॉडल में हम टेपेक को इंटीग्रेट करने की कोशिश करें और एक एक्सपेरिमेंटल स्टडी करें, तो शायद आज के दौर में हम उन मॉडल को रिफर्बिश्ड फॉर्म में प्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं और उनकी हम लॉन्जिविटी को और बढ़ा सकते हैं। एक अच्छा आइडिया है, एक अच्छा फूड फॉर थॉट है फॉर रिसर्च हु वांट टू डू इन दिस एरिया। आई थिंक
जी
दीप्ति and other faculty from there is also connected with us, so they are
जी
listening to it, so they could think on these directions also, and basically
हाँ
we need researchers in this area.
जी
मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ हिंदुस्तान में टीचर एजुकेशन की प्रॉब्लम ये है कि प्रोफेसर पासी, प्रोफेसर
हसन वाल सर,
उसके बाद आप बात कर लीजिए एलसी सिंह, या फिर हमारे
संसन
खुद साहब,
जी
प्रोफेसर यादव, एमएस यादव, और एक ज्यादा से ज्यादा प्रोफेसर गोयल।
यस
उसके बाद से हिंदुस्तान में किसी ने टीचर एजुकेशन के मॉडल्स पर, डिजाइन्स पर रिसर्च नहीं की है।
नहीं किया।
उस जनरेशन के जाने के बाद हिंदुस्तान में रिसर्च फाउंडेशन पर होनी बंद हो गई। फिर हम रोते हैं कि हमारा डिसिप्लिन खत्म हो रहा है। कोई भी डिसिप्लिन तब ग्रो करता है जब उसमें नई रिसर्चेज होती हैं, नए मॉडल्स आते हैं। तो यंग जनरेशन अगर इसको टेकअप करती है तो आई थिंक इट शुड बी अ गुड स्टेप।
यस सर,
यस
कई सारी
मनीष जी।
यूनिवर्सिटीज ने निकाल दिया है अपने सिलेबस से ही मॉडल्स
हाँ,
को।
वही तो प्रॉब्लम है,
हाँ,
वही
yes,
सबसे
sir.
बड़ी प्रॉब्लम। मनीष
जी
गुप्ता
जी,
जी।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
मनीष जी, आपका क्वेश्चन।
थैंक यू सर, गिविंग मी चांस। और मेरा प्रश्न सर, एनईपी में जो इम्प्लीमेंटेशन हुआ है कोर्स आउटकम और प्रोग्राम आउटकम, और उसमें भी खासकर जब हम ब्लूम्स टेक्सोनॉमी की बात करते हैं, और जब हम अपने विश्वविद्यालय और उससे संबंधित महाविद्यालयों के बोर्ड ऑफ स्टडीज के चीज़ों को मैं देखता हूँ, बहुत सारे लोग जो है सर ब्लूम्स टेक्सोनॉमी को समझ नहीं पाते हैं।
बिल्कुल नहीं
और
समझ।
दूसरा चीज, हमारा विश्वविद्यालय और उससे संबंधित महाविद्यालय इतने ज्यादा हैं कि हमने क्वेश्चंस के पैटर्न तो कोर्स आउटकम L1, L2, L3 सिस्टर बना दिया है, लेकिन मैपिंग नहीं हो रही है। तो आपको लगता है कि एनईपी का ये घटक जो है इम्प्लीमेंट हो रहा है, या कोई इस तरह का सर्वे या रिपोर्ट आया है जिसमें ये बताया कि आपने
नहीं मनीष, देखो एक चीज है, जो कोर्स आउटकम, प्रोग्राम आउटकम और लर्निंग आउटकम का कॉन्सेप्ट है, ये एनईपी के आने से पहले से आ गया था यूजीसी में। जब यूजीसी ने सीबीसीएस लॉन्च किया था तब आ गया था। तो एनईपी उसको आगे बढ़ा रही है, एनईपी के बाद नहीं आया, ये एनईपी का रिकमेंडेशन नहीं है। अगर आप
बोर्ड ऑफ
देखेंगे
स्टडीज
लर्निंग
विश्वविद्यालयों
आउटकम, कोर्स आउटकम एंड प्रोग्राम आउटकम बेस्ड जो करिकुलम था, वो करिकुलम हम लोगों ने जब सीबीसीएस लॉन्च किया था तभी अडॉप्ट कर लिया था। लेकिन जो तुम्हारी दूसरी बात है कि उनके आउटकम्स को लिखें कैसे, और सबसे बड़ी बात है उन आउटकम्स की असेसमेंट से मैपिंग कैसे करें, इसकी ट्रेनिंग नहीं हुई है, इसकी ट्रेनिंग नहीं हुई है। आप एक रिसर्च करके देखिए, एक छोटी रिसर्च लीजिए, कोई रिसर्च प्रोजेक्ट, माइनर प्रोजेक्ट लीजिए, और आप जरा इसके इम्प्लीमेंटेशन का और इसके रिलेशनशिप देखिए 10-12 यूनिवर्सिटीज का करिकुलम, और उनके खाली उनका करिकुलम, सिलेबस और क्वेश्चन पेपर ले लीजिए, और उसके कंटेंट एनालिसिस करके एक मैपिंग करके रिसर्च करिए, आपको आउटकम पता लग जाएंगे कि कितने अच्छे से कहाँ इंप्लीमेंट हो रहा है। तो दिस इज अ फैक्ट। वो जो इससे पहले के दो लोग जिनसे मेरा डिस्कशन चल रहा था, उन्होंने जो सवाल उठाया था, मौमिता ने, और उससे पहले जो सर से बात हो रही थी, वो भी यही कह रहे थे कि चूंकि पेडागोजिकल ट्रेनिंग नहीं हुई है हायर एजुकेशन में टीचर्स की, इसलिए नहीं कर पाते। अभी आप टीचर्स से पूछिए व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन अ लर्निंग ऑब्जेक्टिव एंड अ लर्निंग आउटकम, टीचर एजुकेशन में आधे लोग नहीं बता पाएंगे, फॉरगेट अबाउट अदर डिसिप्लिन्स, राइट? तो ट्रेनिंग नहीं हुई है। ज्ञानेंद्र, आपका सवाल। ज्ञानेंद्र।
हाँ सर, सवाल नहीं है सर, एक सजेशन लेना था। क्वेश्चनर पे काम कर रहे हैं मैं और राज बना रहे हैं। आपने बोला अभी क्वेश्चनर पे, तो वी विल टेक योर आउट इनपुट फ्रॉम दैट, क्योंकि
sure, anytime. But it's good that you people are moving towards research.
Thank you.
Yes. So I think no other question, or still any question? I have 5 minutes if you people have question. ना मुझे लग रहा है कि शायद अगला सेशन सर का है और सर ने ज्वाइन कर लिया है।
अगला सेशन डॉक्टर ज्ञान का है सर।
किसका है अगला सेशन?
डॉक्टर ज्ञानेंद्र का ही है सर।
अच्छा, सर का ही है, चलिए ठीक।
We'll take a short break, after that we'll start the session.
Okay.
So no more questions. राजकुमार सर, आप कुछ पूछना चाह रहे हैं?
नहीं, थैंक यू मैम।
Okay.
थैंक यू सर।
Thank you very much.
Okay, so sir, on behalf of IUCT, I would like to thank you for this wonderful session.